the purpose of this tutorial will be changing the elevation of contour lines that are in meters into feet. So the first thing you would have to do is import the shapefiles for the contour data. You might get those data from LiDAR or USGS. So we go into insert and map import, and we collect our shapefiles and say OK. Now you have a couple of options here. Let's look first at the data that we have. We want to highlight the data we want, so we go into data and go to create object data, select field, and want to make sure that our elevation that we're interested in is checked. So you can deselect it, but in this case we want it selected, and say OK. And OK. So we have this data here. Now we make sure we select import polygons and close polylines so that our data will come in polygons and not in pieces. So we go and say OK. And we do a zoom extent, and here's our contours. Now the issue we're having here is our elevation. If you select one and go to properties, you'll see that the elevation comes in as meter 44, and the whole purpose of our tutorial is to convert this into feet. Now the attribute listed down below says our elevation should be 146, which is the right elevation. So now we want this elevation to come up here. So to do that, we go to the next step, and that is to save this file and close it. So we can save it as a drawing in our C drive, and I will explain later the reason behind that. So we can just call this LiDAR data and save, and make sure it's in your C drive and save. After saving, we go ahead and close this file. We open a new file. Now in opening a new file, we have to attach our drawing that we just saved. So we go into drawings and make sure you're in the Map Explorer tab. We go into drawings, right click and attach. We go to our C drive, which is the only option. We look for our file, LiDAR data, and make sure it's highlighted here. So we have this, and we say OK. Now you know it's in this drawing because it's in our drawing list. So you might not necessarily see it here, but you'll see it here. Okay. Now the next thing we want to do is query our elevation. We go into current query, right click and define. Now in this dialog, we select our location, and we make sure we have all selected, and we say OK. And you'll see it come up here. Now the next thing, we go to alter properties. We're interested in our elevation. We select that. We go to expressions and select our elevation in the object data folder. Expand. You see your elevation here. Highlight. You must highlight and say OK. And make sure you add it, and you see it up here, and you say OK. So after that's done, we go ahead and execute query, where we just the elevation, we have to execute that, and we say execute. We can do zoom extend to bring our contours in, and there we are. At this point, we're just in the preview mode, so we can't touch anything yet. So for us to go ahead and draw our contours, we'll go back to current query, right click, define, and now we want to draw. So in the query mode, we select draw and execute that. Now we can test to see our elevation, and we do a properties check on this, and now it says 156 elevation, and also in the attribute it's labeled 156, so we know we have our elevation done right. And all you do now is save your drawing. We can call it updated data or whatever you would want to call it, and you say okay to this, and that is it. Thank you.